Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Smart Indian Agriculture on the Federal.com. I am Vivian Fernandez. The production and consumption of millet should be promoted, the finance minister said in a budget speech. The Indian Institute of Millet Research, Hyderabad, which is a center of excellence for millet research, would be developed as a global hub for the sharing of research, technologies, and best practices, she said. India is the largest producer of millets with annual production averaging about 50 million tons. This is a fifth of the combined production of wheat and rice. Millets were known as coarse cereals. They are getting an image makeover. Karnataka calls them Sri Danya or rich grains. The finance minister preferred to call them Sri Anna. And they are also known as nutri-cereals. A former chief economic advisor called them socially useful crops because they are nutritious, hardy, and they use less water. To discuss millets, we have with us Dr. CV Ratnavathi, acting director of the Indian Institute of Millet Research, or rather, she was the acting director of the Indian Institute of Millet Research until Wednesday, 15th February. She has 34 years of practice at the institute, of which 28 years have been in millets, 21 of them in jawar or sorghum. She's also on the scientific panel on cereals, oilseeds, and pulses of the Food Standards Authority of India. Dr. Ratnavati, thank you very much for making the time and for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity. So, am I
Dr.
audible?
Ratnavati, with an
Yes.
increase in the incidence of lifestyle diseases like diabetes, there is increased awareness about the benefits of millet consumption. Now, has this awareness translated into increased demand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, the demand has not come all of a sudden. In fact, the demand is slowly coming. Why? Because we started looking at jowar as a food in 2005 through a World Bank project. Till then, we were thinking of making jowar as like wheat as a base for bakery products, and we are successful. And before that, we also worked to look jowar as an industrial crop in both ways. Like we have a sweet sorghum wherein it has sugarcane like stem yielding a good juicy syrup, otherwise juice containing a high rich amount of sucrose, and which is very much comfortable for ethanol production, biofuel production, to blend for blending in petrol. So that is what our context, and then we are successful in making a pilot study with different sugar factories, and also transfer the technology to different sugar factories to promote ethanol as a biofuel and raw material of sweet sorghum as a promising raw material. So
yeah, that's very nice to know, Dr. Ratnavati, but we are here concerned about human consumption. So apart from jowar, what about the other millets? There are about 11 millets. Some of them are minor millets. Jowar is a major millet. And there's bajra as well as ragi, which is finger millet, which are major millets. What about the consumption of these millets? How are you promoting them?
Did some basic research on how jowar can be used. So there we thought that jowar can be consumed, can be used for preparation of various products which are available with rice and wheat. So there we got a very niche area. Then we started making these bakery products, ready to eat products, ready to cook products. So under ready to cook products, we immediately made poha, that is flakes from sorghum, which is a very good hit in the market. So then the consumption has started. In fact, Maharashtra is the major area of jowar producing area, but there the rice poha is much used as a breakfast cereal. And then we thought that if a breakfast cereal is made, that will be easy to consume for the urbanites. So the urban consumers we have to increase. Then only there will be a lot of demand for jowar. So then that's how we started. So then now we have millets now. Apart from jowar, we have finger millet, ragi, bajra is the pearl millet. The second largest millet that is produced is bajra pearl millet, and which is very comfortable to grow in even in a dry climate. And The third one is finger millet ragi, and fourth one is foxtail millet. That is korra is called in Telugu, kangni in Hindi. And foxtail millet next is
Yeah,
proso millet,
ma'am. Yeah,
barley like that.
we'll come to this one by one. But when you
Yeah.
said that you're promoting jowar for for bakery consumption or for or as poha, are you saying that these millets cannot be consumed as staples, or they will not be there will not be so much of demand for them as staples? They cannot be replacement for rice and wheat.
No, no, that is not true, sir. But when whereas the where the area of some of the areas where people non-traditional areas rather, I should say, because of the health benefits that are imparted in millets, we wanted to promote in non-traditional areas. How you promote in non-traditional areas is that you cannot make a jawar roti like the roti that is made from wheat. So our concept is that more from the ready to eat and ready to cook products will have greater attraction for the urban consumers. As you said, one of the point that palatability also is an issue when you make. So then we started making idli rava, dosa batter, how you can make, and we started giving training programs to the startups and so on and so forth. Actually, when you
So,
increase
ma'am,
the
to interrupt you, what you are
yeah,
saying is that you started as poha or ready-to-eat cereals, so that you can make an entry into middle-class homes, and once they start consuming this, then gradually expand the areas of consumption. Make other products. So you are just trying to create some kind of a beachhead with which to
yes.
enter into middle-class homes, isn't it?
Yeah, not only that, sir, we have devised a machine for roti making also, because it is not so easy to make a roti. But we have tried a clinical experiments showing that the jawar roti consumption will be diabetic friendly, and we have proved that a clinical experiment showing reducing the H1BAC, that is glycosylated hemoglobin levels, also were reduced out of a 3-month study with a clinical trial with the diabetic patients. So then we started creating a lot of awareness with the health of human by the consumption of millets. You can promote health to the diabetic patients.
Is it right to say that these millets can be used along with let's say wheat or rice, for example, by
Yes.
mixing them in wheat flour or in dosa batter, and not in themselves, because some people of course eat them in Karnataka. There are people who eat them as ragi mudde,
No,
but not
no, they can
everyone
be.
can
No,
develop
no.
that taste. It's an acquired taste, isn't it?
Yeah, quite taste. But no, their dosa, idli, and all are very comfortable, sir. Even khichdi can be made from the jawar rava or ragi rava, any rava. We make the coarse rava, we make fine rava, and it is palatable. And no, surprisingly, starting from korra onwards, all the millets can be the polished millets, like polished rice. We have polished millets. These polished millets can be cooked like rice, and they can be eaten like rice, or you can mix with little amount of rice and also can cook, so that you can get
Yes.
the benefit of millets.
But ma'am, over a period of time, we find that even though there is greater awareness about the nutrition quality of millets, the production has actually declined. So, can we say that while the middle classes are consuming more of millets, the poor people are consuming less of it? Because there are NSSO surveys which show that between 1993 and 2011-12, the per capita per month consumption of millets among the bottom 25% of the households has fallen from 1,590 grams in 93-94 to 270 grams. So there seems to be a demand displacement. The poor are getting out of millets, whereas the middle classes seem to be getting into it. Am I right in saying that?
This statistics is, and I'm not very good in statistics of these figures, sir. But what I can tell you is the poor people, rather the people, what you are saying, that class is getting the rice, fine cereals in PDS system. That may be one reason. So they are more inclined to use that one, and that is one. But definitely the farmer who is growing jawar and millets is still growing, because the fodder for the livestock is very important for the farmer. So still the crops are existing, but with the production is not reduced. Only the area has come down. The production is not drastically reduced, I can say, because of the high yielding varieties and hybrids of Bajra and Jawar, even finger millet. Finger millet and small millets we have up to, of course, we do not have hybrids, but we have good varieties. So the production, the research background for improvement on the crops for high yielding varieties and hybrids has faced a lot. Though the area has come down, the production is, remain stable at least. If not, we increased very this one.
So are you saying that in the case of millets, there are varieties and there are hybrids that are responsive to increase the application of water and fertilizers? I mean, as you apply more of these inputs, do their productivity also improve? Do we have such varieties and hybrids?
No, not only that, sir. Actually, with the farmer, even we advocate for the application of fertilizer and other inputs, he may not do that. But definitely, our hybrids and varieties themselves they yield high when compared to the older hybrids and varieties. And especially in Maharashtra, we have Jawar. All the hybrids will be tested, and also the hybrids. We have All India Coordinated Research Improvement Project where we have an association with agricultural universities also contributing to the research and contributing to the hybrids varieties which are tested across the India in different jowar millet growing areas. So after testing, they will be released, and these hybrids are definitely fetching a higher yield, and which is compensating for the decrease in area. I must
What
say
is
that.
what is the average yield currently? I think it's about little over 2 tons per hectare.
In case of jawar, it is 2 tons per hectare, sir. It varies from crop to crop. See that all millets, some of the millets are restricted to the areas, and most of the millets, right from ragi, they are all grown in kharif season. That is their rain-fed crops, rather, I should say. Only jawar is grown in rabi time. Parts of Maharashtra, parts of Karnataka, it is grown in the rabi season. That is post-rainy season. And whereas Bajra is grown in summer season.
Let's suppose there's increased demand, and because millets are grown mostly in dryland areas by small and marginal farmers who cannot afford fertilizers and other inputs, in case there is a demand increase, can production respond accordingly? Can we have a supply response to match demand?
Yes, sir. We are into this type of production in two ways, that we are trying to cope up the seed demand. The seed that seed demand for the seed, supply of seed is coming in a big way. So we have started a program of seed hubs. So we are training farmers also for the quality seed production. By our institute, we have a contract farming for seed production, and we are also meeting the demand for the grain production, increased production of millets through FPOs. So we establish FPOs, and 10,000 FPOs are the target for the government of India, for the Ministry of Agriculture. There we have already, each institute was given 50 FPOs establishment. So we have completed 41 FPOs which are millet based. So each FPO will have a group of farmers. So these group of farmers will be enabled with a primary processing facility also. So they can process the grain after the harvest. They can thresh the grain. They can clean the grain. They can remove the stones. This is all primary processing operations. So the farmer can make a clean grain and sell himself.
So can we take it that because of all these initiatives, the supply will respond to increased demand? So if there's increased demand, supply will also follow. Can supply increase? Is supply that elastic?
Yes, yes. Supply is elastic. Now we have all the state governments coming forward for missions. Millet mission it is called, and Orissa is very active in millet mission, and even Karnataka is a traditional consumer of millets, and then Karnataka also is very actively doing a millet mission. Now into Chhattisgarh we have a millet mission, and even we have Uttarakhand millet mission. So millet missions are coming from states.
Oh,
So
that's very nice to know.
they
Since the center is not procuring millets like it is procuring rice and wheat, are the states doing that? Are all the states that have these missions which you mentioned, are they procuring millets?
they are getting staged to procure. I must say that. Yeah, India and government also is very keen. Central government also is very keen to make some of the procurement through, and they are giving some MSP and other things also being advertised, and so that is all
Yeah.
being done. So this
Now,
is a sort of a. Hmm.
Orissa, for example, is giving a direct benefit transfer. I think it pays the farmer 22,500 rupees per hectare. Are other states also doing giving such support? What is
Yeah,
your
Karnataka also is doing that, sir. And exact figures I cannot say, but Karnataka is doing that. And seeing one state, the other state also is getting inspiration and doing that.
Okay,
And
so there's that
I'm
demonstration
also
effect where one state does it, the other states will
yeah,
also imitate that state.
immediate
Now,
does.
ma'am, as I said
And
in the intro,
Orissa has set an example being a rice growing state. I must say that. So the non-traditional areas, even this Andhra Pradesh, also we see this in Vijayanagaram and other districts. They are very keen in promoting millets, the tribal areas of Vijayanagaram and in Andhra Pradesh. But another important thing is that rice, sorghum is grown, that jowar is grown after the rice. That is rice fallows crop. As a rice fallow crop, we say rice fallow sorghums, we call, and all the kharif hybrids are being grown in rice fallows, and we get 2.5 times higher yield in when you grow jawar in rice fallows. And then we are training the because we Gunturu, Tenali, and all our rice fallow areas we grow sorghum. We are also promoting, creating awareness how to use sorghum because it is a non-traditional area for jawar and millets. But it is a lot of push, and the other rice fallows are getting inspiration from this story.
is the productivity of millets high enough for farmers growing rice and wheat under irrigated conditions to profitably shift over to millets?
That actually, sir, what we can say is the water that is grown for 1 acre of rice, you can grow 3 acres of millets. That is what our equation. But ultimately, uh, it takes so much time, sir, to shift a rice farmer, a farmer from rice to um,
That is right,
millet.
and also because water is not priced and electricity is given at very low rates in many states. So farmers may not shift over to millets, even though, as you said, it
Yes,
consumes
yes.
less water.
That
Now the other point is that,
it may take
as I
time, sir.
mentioned, yeah, as I mentioned in the introduction, I said these millets are getting an image makeover.
Image
Now,
makeover,
while the
yes.
perception of millets is changing, are people consuming more of it? Because, as I mentioned, there's a palatability issue. How do we improve the palatability? Has the institute done any research, or are there other institutes that are doing research on improving the palatability of millets?
In fact, this is what value addition, sir, where we add value to the grain. Value to the grain, how you add, so if you make a biscuit, we make 100% millet cookie, whether it is jawar or ragi or anything. In fact, many of the universities, agriculture universities, where a food science department is there, this is earlier also it is done. But now you need to create lot of awareness. That is one point, and you need to impart training to self-help groups and also to the startups and entrepreneurs. So we have in fact, some time back, Britannia has collaborated with us and they funded, and we had a very good interaction with Britannia, and we have come up with a very good biscuit now today. The biscuit for millet Mary we can call. Of course, 20% wheat we have to incorporate to see the palatability issue. But definitely, important point is that, sir, when you are conscious of your health, you tend to eat millets.
That
That
is
is
right.
one point. See, if you are diabetic and then if you want to improve your health and you don't want to increase your insulin injection levels, definitely you have to shift. Then your concern will be more on your food rather than your palatability. That is
That
one
is
issue.
right.
But
Yeah.
today,
So the,
compared to earlier days, today IIMR has brought number of products. We have
yes.
noodles. You can Maggi noodles. Like Maggi noodles, we have millet noodles. We have
Yes.
millet vermicelli. We have a millet pasta, which can be directly cooked and eaten. So this type of novel foods we are bringing in to increase the palatability. The best we can do, we are doing.
Are the private companies also getting interested? You mentioned Britannia.
Yes, sir.
What about ITC,
Britannia.
for example? Like ITC
Yes,
has that
ITC,
ITC has got the Annapurna Atta, where it sells
Ashirvad
multigrain
Atta.
atta.
Ashirvad
It
Atta.
puts Ashirvad Atta is there, which is Sharbati Atta. They also put multigrain atta where they can add soybean flour and things like that. Do they also add millet flour also? Have you seen
They
these
are,
companies more and more coming into these areas to market millet?
yes, the companies also are very keen to have this millet because of the PLI scheme of the government. Has a PLI scheme, so that they are promoting millets with the PLI scheme. And ITC is very keen
Production
because,
linked incentives, yes.
yes, farm gate processing, we already had a linkage with ITC, sir. We are also going to have a linkage with ITC for the food product preparation, this one also. Very shortly, they are coming with a shelf life, improved shelf life atta with bajra or atta with jawar, etc. And definitely, multinational companies are also looking into it because it is coming as a health product, not as a millet.
Yeah.
Millet is linked with health. So
Yeah.
that is,
Ma'am,
people are realizing that.
ma'am, you touched on a very important point, and that is about shelf life. Now, I understand that millets which are unprocessed, they keep for a long time. But the moment they are processed, the shelf life decreases. And normally we find brew kits getting in, they don't keep for long. How can we improve the shelf life? What kind of
No,
research
the
has gone
shelf,
into that area?
yeah, in fact, the shelf life varies, sir. Only Basra we have this problem. But now ITC is coming with improved this thing. And even at IIMR, we are also working very hard how to improve the shelf life of the Basra flour. So that is why Basra is more into any other blended products, then we don't have this problem. And also the millets have varied shelf life. Jawar has a higher shelf life compared to Basra, and Jawar as a grain is more in demand in the roti area. Also, people consume roti. It is a staple food in Maharashtra and parts of Karnataka and Telangana. I see many people in Telangana also still eat Jawar roti only. And it is a staple food, definitely in
What is
many
the
parts.
reason that
Whereas
Bajra does
Basra
not?
is,
What is the reason
Basra,
that Bajra does not keep for long? Is it because it has got some fat content?
it is the kind of fat also, not only fat content. So that is there is a oxidation problem, and but definitely we can overcome that problem also. And right now we are making into dosa batters and all, then we don't see any problem with bajra. If you uh, take the bajra as a dosa batter mix and all, then it will not be a problem. So
Because you
that,
can put some preservatives in that. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. And
So
finally, what about the
not
affordability? Because
not preservative, sir. The dosa batter is a fermented product. See,
no,
fermented product will
when you
automatically taken care of this problem, maybe.
okay, okay, but when you sell in dry powder, dry flour, then do you need to put preservatives to increase the shelf
No,
life?
not preservative, sir. We need to go for a packaging methods.
All right. Better
Yeah,
packaging. Mhm.
better
Now, the
packaging.
last question is about affordability. Even though these are known as coarse cereals and they were consumed by the poor, we find that they are priced quite high. For example, in Delhi, jawar flour is retailing for about 50 rupees a kg, and ragi flour is selling for about 70 rupees a kg. So, how do we bring
70.
down the 70 rupees a
Oh,
kg
my God.
in Delhi for from a chakki from a flour mill. So how do we bring down the cost of these products?
With the increased production only, which we are trying very. Very hardly we are, very hard we are working very hard with the farmers, making awareness programs, bringing them to IAMR. In fact, the UP government has asked us to conduct training program from farmers. So they want to bring the 50 farmers here and train. So like that, we are getting more and more training programs. Let us see, sir, production of millets is to be increased. That is the best solution, I should say. And more awareness for the farmers that we can grow more three crop, leave rice crop and grow millets, we get more income. The farmer also should believe. But definitely this price variabilities do exist, I should say. Uh, because the startups and other entrepreneurs also putting in very good packaging structures and all. The packaging structure itself involves a lot of cost. That is also there. As long as you take a ragi grain and go to the chakki and make a powder, you may not get that much cost. So that way, affordability will be there. But definitely, if you are going to a very high-end supermarket and buy a very nice packet, then you need to pay more.
I'm talking about a flour mill, a chakki, which was charging so much. Anyway, ma'am, on that note, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for all those insights.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more interesting updates.